Silver just crossed $105. By the time you see this, it's probably going to be $115. It's moving fast. I just made a video where I said silver might go to $100. It was like $75 when I said that. I also said in that video I'd be out at 200. I'm rethinking that. In fact, I'm really thinking instead of selling my silver, I want to trade my silver for gold. And right now the gold to silver ratio is like 48, 49 to 1. Meaning I get 48 ounces of silver, I can get 1 ounce of gold. It is the cheapest it's ever been in my lifetime. Will silver continue to go? Will gold continue to go? Will housing continue to go? I think honestly, the answer is it probably will. Let me tell you about a little conversation I just had with somebody who's 80 years old and a long-time coin collector. We always talk about old currencies and things like that, but we started talking about silver heavily recently. He told me now that he's 80, he's selling a lot of his silver. I talked to him and I was like, maybe I should sell some of mine. Because I'm worried. I've been in silver for such a long time. That's why when somebody asks me about buying silver, I have a hard time saying buy now, because I bought at $6, $7 an ounce, $15 an ounce, 21. I think the most I ever paid was maybe 30. And you could have bought it recently for 30, this last year even. Anyway, back to my story. The guy tells me, yeah, I'm selling now because I'm 80. And I said, well, do you think I should sell? We talked about how silver historically had been manipulated and how some of the prices went here and there and the Hunt brothers, etc. And we landed on maybe it might be a good time to sell. After all, just the other day I was at the grocery store and a random person started talking to me about silver, which is usually kind of a sign that maybe we're kind of tipping at the top. Or maybe they're just starting to collect. I don't know. Anyway, after the meeting, he comes up to me and he talks to me and he says, you know what? I'm 80. That's why I'm selling. But if I were you, I'd probably hold on to it. In fact, I might even buy some more and just hold on to it for 20 years and see what happens. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm probably going to turn my silver to gold and probably hold on to, and if there's a correction, buy more of some silver. Just like I'm holding on to my other assets. That's why I really wanted to create this channel. I wanted to create this channel to really emphasize to you the importance of buying assets. Right now, our country is printing $1 trillion a quarter. That's $4 trillion a year. We're at over 38 and a half, almost $39 trillion in debt. It's unsustainable. And while we can look at the utilities of silver and think EVs, solar panels, Tomahawk missiles, etc., silver is the best conductor. But what the real problem is the dollar is getting devalued. The debasement of the currency is real. Look at how we stack up against foreign currencies. A weaker US dollar means more purchasing outside of the US. It makes our dollar weaker, which means silver and gold will definitely keep going up. This is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, trying to convert some of my silver to gold, especially as that gold to silver ratio goes down. If there is a pullback, I'm looking to buy. And when I mean pullback, I'm talking like $80, $75, $80. But that's because I've been in this game for a long time. I used to get silver rounds when I was a little kid for Christmas. I think my grandma might even got it for just a couple bucks an ounce. But while we're on this topic, let's think about this. Elon Musk recently said that there's going to be an abundance, a plethora, so much that we don't know what to do with it by 2040. That's 14 years away. How are we going to get there? I think that's kind of a utopia. And here's the scary part. Between now and then, what's going to happen? We're going to have to do some sort of universal basic income or universal high income, as Elon calls it. But it's kind of scary to me. You need something to stand out and differentiate yourself from others. Let's think about this for a second. If everybody's making the same universal basic income, then what's going to happen? We're all going to be living on the same level. We'll all essentially get enough money for food, housing, and transportation. And if it's the same pay, we're all going to have to live at the same level. And think about that for just a second. There's a lot of people out there who are barely making enough to just get by. They don't even know where their next meal is going to come from. And if we're all making the same amount of money, how will that work? You need something to set yourself apart. You need some vehicle, and assets are the way to hedge against that, especially if some of those assets have the ability to produce money while you're sleeping passively, which is why I'm a huge fan of dividend stocks, stocks in general, gold, silver, and most importantly, real estate. And I love Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin for a second. Time out. We have to have a serious conversation. 80% of you who watch these videos don't like and subscribe. Could you just hit that button right now? It'd mean a world to me. All right, back to the story. Bitcoin. I'm a huge believer in Bitcoin. I've been pumping Bitcoin since before it was $1,000 a coin. I love Bitcoin. I think the idea and the theory is amazing. And I know some people don't like Bitcoin. Right now, look at the 200-day moving average. I think the cycle's over this time. It could turn around tomorrow. Bitcoin moves at light speed, for sure. But if you look at the 200-day moving average right now, it shows that we're actually in a bear trend. And again, this isn't financial advice, but maybe you should just own a little Bitcoin. So look, I'm not trying to tell you which way to do this because there's two options on the table here. If you believe in Bitcoin, own it. I currently don't own very much Bitcoin at all because I think it's in a bear market. And I think my best play is to play against strategy, MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's company. If you think Bitcoin and MicroStrategy are going to go long, you should 100% play them. You should own MSTR. You should own MSTY, which is the yield max that sends you dividends in your Roth IRA. But maybe if you're like me and you think Bitcoin will run eventually, but maybe you think strategy is kind of played out because you have things like Coinbase and other exchanges out there that offer similar things that MicroStrategy does. I mean, and that's what I think. And I'm nobody, again, not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing right now. Winter, WNTR, and that's the yield max dividend payout. So every time that MicroStrategy goes down, Winter goes up, and I get a dividend payout. But there's high NAV erosion, so know what you're doing with that one. But the one I really play when it comes to MicroStrategy is MSTZ. It's a double leverage. I talked about it before. If you think MicroStrategy and you think that they go up 5-10%, we'll say they go up 5% in one day, then MSTZ, which is a double leverage inverse stock, is going to go down 10%. If MSTR goes down 5%, then MSTZ is going to go up 10%. So you have two options, two ways to play that MSTR and MSTY. If you think strategy is going to go to the moon, or if you think strategy is overplayed, you can use Winter, WNTR, or MSTZ. But long term, I think you probably want to think about getting back into Bitcoin as soon as it crosses over that 200-day moving average, removing the bear market and going back to the bull market. The other most important piece about assets is property, real estate, buying appreciating areas. People are always going to need a place to live. And like my dad used to say, they don't make more land. Sure, they can convert farmland or whatever into housing developments, but they don't make more land. Hopefully you got something out of this. Like and subscribe, comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on owning assets. What assets are you owning to hedge inflation? What assets are you owning so that you don't get caught when everybody else is making the same money? What assets are you holding so you don't stand in the breadline? Comment down below. Let me know. Stick around. I got a lot of great things coming. We're going to do awesome things.